Okay, so we're here with Stay Safe Sanitizing. We have Scott, and we have Frank, and we have Steve, and these three gentlemen. Frank in the middle there was a member of ours, so he approached me about sanitizing, and as we move forward into opening, it's going to be more and more important for us to have companies that we can use that are local to us and know what they're doing, which is even more important. So I'm going to turn it over to them so that they could tell us a little bit more about what they do and how it makes a difference. So I'm going to start with you, Scott.
All right. This is our electrostatic technology, and it is the best technology on the market that you could get. When you spray it, it actually gives the sanitizer an electrostatic charge, so it wants to cling on to all the surfaces. So rather than just landing as it sprays, it's going to land and it wants to wrap around 100% on that surface. You're getting 360-degree coverage.
So how long does it take to kind of cover a gym? This is a pretty big place. It's like 3,000 square feet. So what's the time like to do something like that? Is it?
Again, depending on the equipment that's inside and whatnot, I would say anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, depending on how many people we have with us and
To do all the spraying?
do the entire building,
Okay.
from your workout area to your desks and offices, bathrooms.
Okay. So how long does something like this that's coming out of that gun take to dry?
It would take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. You want to let it sit, and then we come back with a rag, wipe it down.
Oh, it's a whole process.
Yeah, and we focus a lot on high contact areas. So
Okay.
rather than just spraying it, after that we go through with spray bottles with the same sanitizer and a rag. Make sure we get your light switches, phones, anything that people are touching. And obviously in here,
Yeah.
everybody's touching everything.
Do you want to show these guys just kind of like how that works, how it sprays? You just
Absolutely.
want to do a couple seconds there?
I'll give you a little bit of insight while Scott's spraying.
Sure.
The difference between an electrostatic sprayer and a hand pump sprayer or a backpack sprayer that you could buy at Home Depot is the size of the droplets, more so than being negatively charged.
Right.
So these droplets are measured. We can pick between 80, 100, and 120 micron size droplets, which basically means they're very small. They're about the size of a germ that would fly out of your mouth that we're looking to fight with this
Oh, that's
same type of machine. But they're so small that they fill cracks and crevices. So I could spray a keyboard
right.
and it's not going to damage a keyboard. The chemicals that we're using it's not a bleach, it's not going to stain, it's not going to leave any type of a residue. And then the level of the cleaning also depends on how involved you want to get. In some of the gyms that we do each and every dumbbell, each and every weight. That would be the customer's choice. If you wanted us to come in and do, a simple sanitizing spray, or do you want to go with the hard wipe down as well? But this machine is basically the business.
Yeah, I didn't realize that that it was so detailed, that it was such a process. Because here I am thinking you just kind of go through and spray, and
Yeah, no.
everybody's
For an item like this, say you have your own rag, your own spray, it's going to be impossible for you to make sure this is completely covered. So as we would spray this, it's actually getting into the holes on the inside. It's getting all the way around it, underneath it, inside your wheels.
Yeah.
It's touching every part that could possibly be touched and sanitized on here.
Now, if you were to come in, you would be doing the floor also.
We
So
would do your floors, they would get sprayed, we would go up your walls, your mirrors, everything.
wow. Okay. So that would that be done by a fogger? I know people are talking about buying foggers. Is this where? How does that play in?
Well, a fogger is great. It produces a fog, right?
Right.
It's very fine, but the CDC says that you shouldn't use any kind of a hard wind machinery that you can blow the virus around. So that's what this does. It doesn't blow out air. If I use the fogger in here, you'll see all your dust on the floor being pushed across the floor with the fogger because it comes out with force
Okay.
in the air.
So would you say then that this is complementary to doing something ourselves in between classes? Like, how are we going to get the best coverage, I guess?
That's
Because
what we would expect and work with our customers with. For a gym like this or business like this, we would recommend that you would use us once a week, and then in the interim, you can do your nightly cleaning with your own spray bottles or your own hand pump sprayers like we talked about earlier.
Sure.
But this is something that you just can't get to the level of clean with unless you have the electrostatic sprayer. Now, you could go buy yourself an electrostatic sprayer. You'll get it in October or November. You know,
Right.
all of our sprayers we were forced to buy at the beginning of this pandemic off of eBay
Sure.
because they just weren't available. People saw this coming months in advance, actually, as soon as the virus was
Wow.
peeking out of Wuhan. So
And now with the sprayer, it's making sure it's going into the deepest cracks and crevices. So if you want to go through with your keyboard, obviously you can't spray that with a fogger. You're going to destroy it in 2 seconds. You're not going to be able to get that in detailed with a rag either. You lightly go over it with this, and the mist is landing on the keyboard, going underneath the keys, so whatever virus or bacteria could be sitting on there got touched and
Yeah.
taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have a lot of ground to cover in a place this size. I'm sure you're doing larger sizes, but the frequency with which we doing classes, so it's a matter of, is this considered a deep clean for us, a deep sanitize, and then we sanitize on our own?
Yeah, this would definitely be a deep disinfectant for you guys, and then just on top of us to guarantee that everything's being taken care of as best as possible. Afterwards, maybe at the end of a class, depending on your time frame in between, or even at the end of the night, you guys would go through and still try to contain it as best as you can. But then once we come in that once a week, everything's guaranteed to be touched with this machinery.
Okay, great. So it's, to be expected, you're going to be really busy. So how do people get in touch with you? Because I would imagine you'd want to start setting up some consultations sooner rather than later. Is that right?
You could email us, you could give us a phone call, 732-948-3522, and we'll work best with you,
Okay.
So no matter what, if you need us here at 2 o'clock in the morning, we'll be there.
Right, okay, good. So when you're going to be doing that, if it's after hours, we can simply give you guys a key and you'll let yourselves in? Because it seems like if it's something that's going to take a couple of hours, it might be better like middle of the day or after classes.
Now, another question we get asked a lot is, after we do the treatment, how quick can you come back in? You could be here while we're doing it. You could come back in within 10 minutes, but we recommend an hour or two just to let everything settle. The sanitizer does have a smell to it, a little bit of a chlorine hint. So after an hour or two, it's all gonna be gone. But again, if you're in here, it doesn't hurt you.
Okay. So what Frank, you were telling me about the chemical that you use. There is a name for it that it's,
well, the CDC puts out a list. It's called the N list. So on that list is a list of all the
Okay.
sanitizers that they recommend we use or anyone use to fight a virus or bacteria. So the one that we use is one that you can't buy in a store. It's not a bleach. We just did 2 clothing stores in Seeger, and we were actually spraying their very high-end garments with this material.
oh, wow.
And we tested it on everything to make sure, from cashmere to silk to any type of wall, sheetrock, wood, metal, and it has
Okay.
no effect on it. It is kid, pet, food friendly.
Okay.
So it's 100% eco-friendly. Another thing I want to point out too is when we come in, we will have all our material. I
Okay.
don't have a mask right now, obviously for demonstration purposes,
Sure.
but we come on with gloves, booties, just so we're not retracing dirt or spreading anything else throughout.
So how do we ensure that we're, obviously we're not going to be getting this endless disinfectants, or can we? I don't know. We'll have to see what the franchise can put together, but we're not getting that kind of disinfecting from Pine Sol or
Well,
Fabuloso, is what I'm saying.
No, absolutely not. And as hard as it is to find any kind of a Lysol product now, we do have a supplier locally for cleaners that you can use. So I can
Okay.
actually, get them for you where you can do your own cleaning in the interim between ours.
Oh, good. So I didn't know that you could do that. So that's good to know too, is that we can call you guys and you can get us those supplies because, unless we're dealing with Uline or a company like that,
They're all
then,
sold
You
out
can't
without
even
them.
get to them. And with the
Can't
product
find
that
it.
we're using,
Okay.
it's hospital grade disinfectants where you can't get it unless you're in the medical field or sanitizing
Yeah.
field.
I'm pretty sure that I speak for all owners when I say, like, we really want it to be clean when we do it. So if we're doing it in between, we want the right stuff. You know, like I don't want somebody to turn around and say they got sick here or anything like that. So
Especially with bleach allergies, you'd be surprised how many people
yeah,
have an allergy to bleach. So if you did think, oh, let me cut this water with 10% bleach solution, and then, God forbid, somebody in the middle of your
we
class-
have had complaints about bleach smell because we do bleach when we were cleaning the floor, and it was overwhelming for a couple of people. So that's kind of like, all right, what are we going to do now? So if we know that we can reach out to you, now you have a website also?
Absolutely.
Okay.
www.staySafeSanitizing.com.
Okay, and they can send info through there and you can reach out to them,
Our
or?
website, our email's on there. Again, our phone number's on there. We have a Facebook that you can go onto as well. Stay Safe Sanitizing.
Okay.
So
I would just
multiple ways to
ask-
contact.
Sorry.
You want them to talk to you guys
You'll
directly?
be speaking to Scott probably
Okay.
directly. But I would just say, time is of the essence now, since the governor and, the CDC and everybody else, they kind of change their mind every day on what the new rules and regulations are.
Right.
But since the residents of New Jersey see the restrictions lifting, the gym owners know they're going to be opening, the stores that are closed know they're going to be opening. So our phones have really blown up. They've been doing nothing but sale calls all day for the last few days.
And when we're done, you're gonna get a sign for your door. You could put up, "We've been treated by Stay Safe Sanitizing." You'll get a sign for your reception desk.
Awesome.
Just so all your customers are gonna see, and they're gonna feel safe as well.
So, I guess, the pricing is something that you talk to the individual on in terms of what they need and want.
Yeah, and the pricing varies so much from situation to situation.
Yeah.
Nothing's the same. So
So the,
obviously, if we had numerous max gyms,
Right.
the pricing is going to be
yeah,
much.
we need to get together people so we can get some,
definitely flexibility when it comes down to that and
Yeah.
talking wise. So
well, you guys are in Brick, right?
Yeah,
You're right here,
we
so,
go all across New Jersey. So
And you go
we'll
all
go
across.
anywhere that you guys would need.
all right. So, I want to thank you guys for coming in and doing the demo, but you can feel free to keep going.
No problem. We're going to.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.